We are so thankful for this day, for this is the day that you have made. We are blessed because of your presence, your love, and your blessed assurance. As we gather together to celebrate the dedication of the Cathey Municipal Pier this afternoon, I humbly ask that you bless Mayor Cathey and his family. We are so very thankful for the love and the compassion that he has for the city of Mexico Beach, which we call home. And we are so very grateful for everything that he has done and all that he has accomplished. Cover him and his family with your love, your mercy, and your grace. In Jesus' precious holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
What a good job by those guys. What a good job. Thank you, guys. You know, it's great to see so many people here today and honor a good friend and also a community leader, Cathey. My name's Rich Wolf. I'm current mayor for Mexico Beach. I'd like to start this by recognizing a few people that are here today, and then also play on some people that have been doing the organizing and of this event. Our city employees, bar none, they're the best. We thank them for what they've done here. Public Works, Fire Department, and the Sheriff's Department. We do have a Congressman Neil Dunn's office sent Nicole Smith. Nicole, are you out there somewhere? All right, thank you. Appreciate you being here and representing Congressman Neil Dunn. As far as donors, we want to make sure to recognize them, as they're the people that make this thing work. You have to have donors and you have to have employees working, volunteers. So Centennial Bank, Point Broadband, TLS, Lawn Care, Rich Real Estate, 98 Real Estate Group, Marquest Realty, Twice the Ice, the Hornsby Family, Top Notch Rentals, the Ralph Rich Family. Mayor Cathey asked if I would recognize Dina Bastilla. She's a senior engineer for Atkins. Well, so be it, we've done that. Dina works closely with the mayor when he was in office. We're going to go ahead and also recognize a committee that was put together and has done a heck of a job. Julie Gardner, she's probably around, she's probably standing somewhere. Julie, you here anywhere? Yep, way in the back there. Thank you, Julie. She obviously put this all, the whole committee together, along with Quinn Jenkins. Quinn Jenkins was a writer and author of everything that you're reading today. Great job, Quinn. Thank you. Julie Danhart and Tammy Bruson, thank you for what you do. They're like a team in City Hall. They work like a husband and wife on a good day. They do a good job. They do. We're going to go ahead and start with 3 speakers today, and one will introduce right after the next, so we can move right on through. And right now, I'd like to welcome Bay County Sheriff Tommy Ford.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me here today. This is a special day for Mexico Beach, and it's an honor to be a part of it as we recognize our dear friend, Mayor Cathey. You're fixing to get tased. So this is home for me. I grew up down the road in Port St. Joe, but suffice it to say that my teen years, I spent quite a bit of time right here on this road. I won't tell you what I was doing, but I will tell you that if Tommy T's had video back then, I probably wouldn't be your sheriff. Mexico Beach wasn't just a getaway, it was a special part of my life and still remains that way. How many of you remember the wrestler Ric Flair, the Nature Boy? So about 1987, 1988, my girlfriend was babysitting for tourists that were coming in, and somehow he found her name. And he was staying at a townhouse right over there. And I thought it'd be really cool to join her while she babysat for Ric Flair. So it was surreal. We knocked on the door. The Nature Boy in all his glory came to the door. We came in. He was giving instructions about how to take care of the kids. Then he looked at me and said, "Son, you're gonna need to leave." I said, "Yes, sir." I didn't try to sneak back in, but this has been a special place for a lot of people from throughout the country. And when you talk about the people who define this great town of Mexico Beach, we think about our friend Al Cathey. The Cathey family and their hardware store have been a cornerstone here for decades. It wasn't just a business, it was a place that neighbors leaned on. After Hurricane Michael, we all remember when the devastation across this town came, that Al showed his true love for Mexico Beach. He didn't wait. He set up shop in his warehouse, made sure people had what they needed. It really became kind of the gathering point for the whole community, and kept this community moving forward when it mattered most. At the same time, he was carrying the weight of leadership as mayor, which was a heavy load. He was instrumental in ensuring that Mexico Beach had a voice at the table in Tallahassee and Washington. He fought hard for the resources, the recognition, and the fairness that this community deserved. And he did it all while making sure Mexico Beach stayed true to itself, resilient, welcoming, and strong. What I've always admired about you, Al, isn't just the results, but the way you've carried yourself. You lead with optimism, with determination, and most importantly, a love for Mexico Beach that's never wavered. I want you to know how much I respect you and how much I value your friendship. This pier is more than wood and piling stretching into the Gulf. It's a reminder that this community was built and rebuilt by people who loved it deeply, people like you. And now generations to come will walk out on this pier and be reminded that Mexico Beach was shaped by great men like my friend Al Cathey. We owe you a debt of gratitude. Thank you. I'm honored to introduce our next speaker, Bo Creel with DPCI. Bo?
Thank you, Sheriff. First, let me say it's a pleasure and an honor to be able to address you on behalf of Al Cathey. He is an amazing human being. I first came here of course, I passed through several times when I was young, but I was asked to come over, I think, by John McGinnis back in 2001 for the possibility of putting in a building department that belonged to Mexico Beach, and we did that. And thank God, 22 years later, we're still here. They haven't run us off. Come close a few times, but we got there. I was trying to define the personality that we call Al Cathey, and you'll probably be surprised. And by the way, let me tell you now, I asked Julie Gardner what she thought I maybe need to say. She said, "Don't worry about it, Mr. Bo. You got 30 minutes, so you can say whatever you want." But I was thinking about, Al's a cross-dresser. I might try to surprise some of you, but here's the true facts. He can be the mayor and a friend at the same time, and that is something that's totally awesome. And I cherish the time that I've spent with him for the past 22 years, as in several different facets of government, working with him at the hardware store when somebody had special problems with materials that they needed to use, what they need to use, how they need to use it, because I'm a building inspector, that's what I do. But his leadership he and I have been on opposite sides of the table where, you know, we could have probably not been very pleasant with each other, but that never happened. We always parted friends. We never had a problem we couldn't settle, and he was very pleasant to work with. Always had I never saw Al when he didn't have a smile, ever in my life. And I suspect with his last breath he'll see that. I mean, that's just the way it is. And I honor and respect him, and the boys, Al, Lee and Brian, I know very well. Brian more, I guess, than any others, because I worked with him a long time before he started what he's doing now, when he was a contractor. But the whole family has been wonderful. I've never heard anything but wonderful things about the teacher, Miss Cathey. The whole family is just that way. And Al, you've done a good job with this city, growing it. You did a good job, you and Miss Cathey, growing a family. And I think that's some of the most important things in the world. And I love you dearly, and I hope you know you're the very best, and anything I can do for you, you know. All you gotta do is pick up the telephone. Thank you all, and I think I'm supposed to introduce a gentleman from the place where I was born, Dothan, Alabama, Mr. Branch, General Branch.
Chop.
The Honorable Mayor Wolf, Councilman, special guests, family, and friends. My name is Jerry Branch, Chops, and I'm here today representing Rex Bissett, the Mayor of Port St. Joe, and honoring our mutual friend, Al Cathey, as he's recognized with having Mexico Beach's new pier named in his honor. Rex couldn't be here today to today's ceremony due to a previous commitment that couldn't be rescheduled, and he was kind enough to allow me this opportunity, which may be the highlight of my senior year. I would have walked from Dothan, Alabama to have done this, and you know I would have. And some of you wonder why in the world would somebody from Port St. Joe invite a carpetbagger to represent him in a gathering. But if you knew the history of Al and Rex and myself, it would make perfect sense. And we love it. The following, I'm gonna read this as closely as I can because I don't want to mess up. I told Rex I wouldn't embarrass him or myself, so this is from Rex. That Al Cathey is one of my closest and dearest friends. We became lifelong friends starting from the first grade at Port St. Joe Elementary School. As we grew older, I started hanging out at Al's home in Mexico Beach. Matter of fact, I spent as much time there as I did at my home in Port St. Joe. During my teenage years, I worked with Al and at his family's grocery store, which is still standing today next to Mango Marley's. Mango Marley's? Yeah. Anyway, it's there. When Al was allowed a little time off from the store, we would ride the beach in the Purple Ward. I won't go into the many memorable events that Al and I shared at Mexico Beach, but they're all memories that I'll never forget and are better not remembered out loud. I say this to share with you that I had firsthand knowledge and experience of Al's love for his hometown from his earliest years and continuing today. As we grew older, that's Rex and Al, I didn't. After raising our families and running our businesses, Al and I talked about how important it is to get involved in our communities in being a public service in a place that has meant so much to us while trying to preserve its values and history. Well, we got involved and eventually were elected mayor of our respective cities. We shared many stories of problems, defeats, and victories, all while learning to be better leaders. Then along comes a 500-year storm named Michael, and Al's leadership was on full display, and boy did he lead. In spite of his business and personal losses, Al ran the city with perseverance, dignity, and class. He was making sure that he took care of the city that he loved. When you ride through Mexico Beach today, look at the recovery. It still retains its small town charm, but with new and colorful homes. Al insisted on it, and he's accomplished that. You guarded the gate. It's most appropriate that the city is honoring Al by naming the new pier for him. He enjoyed the pier on this site since it was first built, and I know he'll beam with pride when the new one is finished. So when you read the inscription on the plaque, remember Al Cathey, a man whose signature and face will forever be stamped on Mexico Beach. Al, my love and congratulations, my friend. Great job. Now, that was Rex, and he did allow me, he allowed me a little bit of time. He said, you can say a few things, so I'm going to. And what?
Be careful.
All right, buddy, here you go. There's no doubt that Mexico Beach is the gem of the Panhandle, primarily due to the hard work of many dedicated people, with several of you present today or represented here. You know, I found one thing over the years, that every town that sets itself apart from all the others have been fortunate to have a small nucleus of local residents who are product of multiple generations. And their single focus is to make their town better while preserving those values that make it unique and special. This was on full display after the devastation of Michael. Without the dedication and vision of Al Cathey and a few others, Mexico Beach could very easily have become just like all the other towns that's overbuilt, over-commercialized, and overcrowded strip of beach. And sadly, you would have lost your small town charm and your identity. I've mentioned the words unique and special several times to describe how so many of us feel about this town, and thanks to all your efforts, and especially Al's, it looks like Mexico Beach will always be just that, unique and special. Miss Biggs would be proud of this, but Winston Churchill once said, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." Well, our friend Al Cathey has had a rewarding and fruitful life, and Mexico Beach is better off for it. So Al, speaking on behalf of Rex and myself and your many lifelong friends, we're so proud of you. This is your day, and it's well deserved.
Well, great speakers. Thank you so much, guys, for coming out. Appreciate it. Ms. Carroll, I want to take a little time to say thank you to you. I know after 53 years of being married myself, that takes two to make it work. You've definitely made that happen. Being Mayor Al Cathey's wife is not as easy, I'm sure, but it had to be especially hard for doing it for over 16 years as a mayor, as my wife would tell me. Thank you. There's three presentations we'd like to do before we do the ribbon cutting and then the unveiling of the sign. So we're going to go ahead and step through those. First one that we're going to do is a resolution. The resolution officially changes the name of the Mexico Beach Municipal Pier to the Al Cathey Municipal Pier. Resolution 25. The second one we'd like to present to Mr. Al is a personal letter to Mr. Al Cathey from Senator Scott of Florida, congratulating him. This old Marine Corps coin, finally found something to hold on to. The third one we'd like to present to Mr. Al Cathey is a keepsake, a personal keepsake for his memory of this moment. We'll make sure all three of those get to the right place. Miss Carol, I've asked you to come on up. I'll go ahead and take your flowers from you now.
Thank you.
Could I have Miss Carol come on up, and Lee and Brian. Brian, on the right side, and you take the left, that'd be great. We're gonna need Councilman Garrett.
Have you seen it?
Before they cut that, Miss Carol, just with the cutting of the ribbon and the unveiling of this sign, the Al Cathey legacy will be etched into the foundation of Mexico Beach history. So we'll go ahead and step through that. We're going to do that in 5 seconds. I'll go ahead and count them down if you want to join me. Sure. 5,
4, 3, 2, 1.
That looks great. Thank you very much. That looks great. Well, that's what we came here for, to hear a little bit about Mr. Cathey, to dedicate this renaming. And from there, I can tell you what's going to happen going forward. We'll be putting together a bronze plaque along with a storybook that's in your handout that you have today. And that will be placed on the pier as a symbol and stand as a reminder of Al Cathey's dedication to this community, his efforts to preserve the city's heritage, and exemplary service and love for Mexico Beach. On behalf of everyone, I'd like to sincerely thank every one of you for being part of this dedication today. Your time and presence truly made this gathering meaningful and memorable. With that said, there's a tent on the back. Please join us for some refreshments and fellowship at the tent. Oh, I'm sorry, Caitlin, I skipped right over you, didn't I? Pretty young lady, and I forgot about her. She wants to do an acceptance speech, and she's going to do it on behalf of her grandfather, Al Cathey. So I'm sorry, thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for being here to honor Al Cathey, my grandfather, and our father. I'm Caitlin Cathey, his oldest granddaughter. He calls me his most precious granddaughter, a distinction easy to earn when you're the only granddaughter. He's asked me to read the following, and it's truly an honor to speak on his behalf. These are his words. First and foremost, I wish to thank the government leadership of our city for the honor of allowing our municipal pier to bear my name. I'm humbled beyond words and grateful for such a prestigious gesture. For 73 years, I've been truly blessed to live, work, and raise my family in our wonderful city. My passion for Mexico Beach comes from my childhood days of watching, listening, and learning from the founding families who were totally committed to making our seaside community a special family town. To all of you in attendance today, to all the many friendships throughout the years, I thank you for the memories. Godspeed all.
Thank you, Caitlin. I apologize for not getting you up there right away. All right, with that said, we can get and join me in the back tent back there for some refreshments. Thank you for attending today.
Thanks, Al.
Somebody needs to come and get their camera. Yeah. I'll do it.
It's great to see you. Hey, how are
Should I move it?
My new wardrobe edition.
Thinking I should move this off to the side.
I think so too.
I mean, it's not mine.